You know it's going to be good if I'm already laughing before you even click record.
I'm not too
Why
sure
is
about...
my joy directly linked to your misery? Why does it make me so happy? Because ultimately it's annoying as hell to witness the Brad of it all.
Because
just don't put it there.
It's like you might as well, if you can't beat them, join them, I guess. Maybe.
I'm still waiting for you to join and be present.
Yeah.
I've been waiting for, how long have we known each other?
It's too long to count.
Do you feel good that this is our first real Film Reverie episode back after a really long time?
Well, you have to qualify the words, do I feel good?
Right.
And
have you experienced any fluctuation of joy in any way related to creating more work for ourselves?
I feel like it's more of a responsibility that we took a vacation from that now we're getting back to. So there's a little bit of a satisfaction to, now I feel like we're doing the right thing.
Yeah. Well, that's a boring answer, Brad.
Half-dead Brad giving empowerment speeches. Did I miss us?
Did I miss us?
I don't know.
I don't miss us because I haven't had a chance to be away from anything. Like
I feel like we cheated on this podcast. You know, we had an affair and now we're coming back and we had a child or something and now we're saying, okay, let's try this again. Yeah. It's painful but satisfying at the same time.
It's like an old glove.
That you murdered your wife and her friend with, and left.
And the glove does not fit.
It does not fit.
Okay, everybody, quiet on the set.
Film Reverie. It's like take 56, right? That one.
And I'm gonna let you off the hook.
Okay.
Action.
One of these days we gotta change the theme song.
You wrote the theme song. What don't you like about the theme song?
Well, it just loops over and over.
Yeah, but we only need like 30 seconds of it at a time, so...
It's just nothing happens. It's just doobity-doo, doobity-doo, doobity-doo. Anyway.
Well, so...
I mean, but that's a sign of a good theme song. It's not supposed to take away from everything else that's going on.
Right.
It's just supposed to kind of transition from what happened before to what's happening now.
Yeah, so let's create some extra work for you for changing the theme song.
No.
Hello, Film Reverie listeners. This is Michael Beckemeyer, and as always, I am joined with the Balding Ewok.
Endeavoring to be better, Balding Ewok.
Do you remember the name where we decided what your Twitter name was going to be at the show where we decided
I think it was episode 2.
It was way, way back. Why do you remember that?
Because I'm working on the website.
You can't remember what episode we're on, but you remember the random episode where we selected your Twitter name other than Bradley Kingston.
Actually, it wasn't 2. It was 5.
I'll have to take your word for it.
Yeah, it was 5.
Yeah.
Because it was Rob Goki, then Daniel Watts, then Cooge. And then some other person in episode 5 was me with the tape on my glasses. And I made a thumbnail that says, "Why We Fight for Our Movies." Wow. But that was the Balding Ewok coronation episode 5.
Thank you for that nostalgic walk down memory lane. Bradley Balding Ewok Kingston.
But it looked like half of my glasses were...
How could you even see out of that?
Taped.
Yeah.
I don't know. Because the screw came out, and it wasn't good enough. You couldn't just wrap it. I had to just wrap the whole thing, because the lens would fall out. If it was even slightly loose, the lens wouldn't stay. So I had to tape the lens to the glasses. That's why the tape was there.
This This first show back is so far not so good. So, first of all, it's been a really long time since we've posted a new episode. It's been so long, we actually had time to re-release every single one of our episodes and time it out to when we wanted to start doing new episodes. So if
it's been so long, we rebooted ourselves
thrice. So if you have just started listening to us, the episode previous to this, which was episode Take 55 with Jerry Cavallaro, was actually from about 2 years ago. 2 Orlando Film Festival festivals ago,
and he's no longer with.
He's no longer with the Orlando Film Festival. We just wanted to re-release all of our stuff from this.
We wanted to do it correctly because we discovered some new and better ways of doing our podcast and website and everything. So we're like, let's just do it right.
Yeah, so that's what we've been up to. Not just that, however. The reason we've been gone for so long is we've actually been practicing what we preach. Go out there and make something. We made a short film, and then we were gearing up to make a feature film that we called Really Pathetic and Totally Awkward. And we talked about it a little bit in the previous episodes that we've released, but never anything at length. So our new batch of episodes are going to be basically mixed in with some interviews with other filmmakers, but it's basically our how to make a movie for no money. Yeah. Like a zero budget film.
We just, not that we're so good that everyone needs to know what we know. It's just that because that's the spirit of the show. We just want to share what we learned. And I think when we did the first couple episodes, we talked about the fact that we just the spirit of the show is to make movies and talk about making them, and then that's what our
philosophy is. Even if you were to see our movie and didn't like
thought it was a big piece of crap,
big piece of shit, which many people may find that way. The thing is, we still did something that we've talked to a lot of people about, and a lot of people, we feel, a lot of the information, sort of a how to fight through all the little obstacles that are going to come up along the way to get a movie made. Whether you liked our movie or not, we at least did get a film made, and we actually want to talk about it. We've learned a lot, and actually, I'm personally dying to do it again because I know that, for me, just by doing something makes you better at that thing. So we did the thing, and everything we'd ever done had culminated in how to pull this off. And there was surprisingly less about screenplay structure, character motivation, which those things are all in there. But more than anything, when you're on set trying to get 15 pages shot, it's basically how to be epically stubborn and not let anything detour you from keep pushing through. It's like a exercise in resilience, which may also sometimes is an exercise in futility. But
and I'll give everyone, I give away the secret to all of it, and you don't have to listen to any of it after this. It's that you basically just have to do it.
Yeah.
Because all the way up until the time that we made a film Reverie was really about you and I trying to answer all these questions we had about how do we do this, how do we do that, and then once we make the film, what do we do with it? So ultimately the answer is you've just got to make the damn thing, because all those questions will be answered in your journey of trying to make your film.
We feel like we do, however, have some... We've gotten... a lot of the feedback we've gotten on our film from people is that the characters are strong. The tension amongst the characters, once things get started, is strong. And we have our own philosophy on how screenplays should be written, and how you develop characters, and how you pin them up against each other. That sounds erotic, but that's not what I mean. How you pin them up against each other in the script, and Our film is a very small film. It's got basically 3 to 4 main characters, and each of the characters are almost polar opposites of each other. So we got the one guy with the other person that's like, and they're saying different things exactly. Yeah. So the tension between the 2 characters is high, and we're going to talk about all that stuff.
Yeah, we're going to reveal our secrets that we, for a while, we almost didn't want to tell the world because we're like, these are our secrets. This is what will eventually make us be awesome later. But,
well, me, you're still stuck being Brad.
So we're going to speak on this a lot. So a lot of the stuff is like pre-production, script writing, and character stuff. But it's just like, I guess about 20 years of experience of us learning human behavior and writing and practicing and watching movies and discussing and really just applying what we've learned, making sure, is this accurate? So now we're at the point where we're very confident, and we also think this will help people. But I mean, there's always new filmmakers, and there's experienced filmmakers out there that probably want to do their own film. I mean, there's a lot of people working in the industry that are in their little niches, like producer or director or whatever, but they're always doing other people's things. So I know there's a ton of people that would love to be able to write their own script and do their own short film, whatever it is, because that's the most fun in indie filmmaking. It's when you get to do your own thing, even if it's a short film.
Yes.
So we're just going to share with you, I mean, these are the little matrices and little the formulas, I guess. Here's all the things that we figured out that made at least the writing process a lot easier, and even the casting process, because we knew what the characters would be like as far as an actual human being. What are the characteristics we're looking for to fit the person that we wrote? So we're just going to share all that because it'll help a lot of people to fill in that missing spot, because I think that's most filmmakers. That creative part of writing and how do I know what the character will do next. 20 years we put into figuring out how to answer that question. So we're gonna do some shows to help you with that.
The thing about that is, you and I together, as we were writing, we made completely different decisions on what characters' motivations or what they would do or say together than I would have by myself or you would have by yourself. None of those options would have been necessarily wrong because we're talking about the creative process.
Yeah.
However, it's our combined interpretation of what we think people would do, and based on what you would do, and we somehow would morph that into something, and what I would say in this moment, morph it into something. It's not just making things up as we go. We have honestly spent a lot of time, as many writers do, observing people watching, analyzing people's behaviors, analyzing ourselves, figuring things out. And we just basically have a matrix that has really helped us. We don't even have to think about what a character will do or say. We just have in a moment we just sort of kind of know, and then we use, well, is this a comedy or a drama or is it a horror movie? Like, what would that person say in this scenario? And again, our movie is flawed. It's a movie we made for next to nothing, so we know that there's no way it's perfect. No movie that's made for zero money is going to be without flaws. So it's not hey, our movie is great. You should listen to us because our movie's the most amazing thing ever.
Right.
We will be the first to tell you. Sit down and watch the movie with us, and you will realize right away that we're in no way doing this to pat ourselves on the back. There are parts of our movie that we don't like. There are parts of our movie we wish were better. Parts of our movie that wish we'd stuck with longer because it was really working, and the other section didn't quite work. There's also just the folly of trying to get a movie made, shoot 12 to 15 pages a day, the comedy of errors that is that scenario.
The controlling chaos. That's
Yeah.
the skill you learn in film production.
Yeah. So I was talking to my students today about giving a shit and caring and like how hard it is to get.
Wow. I mean, to high school students,
Yeah.
that's like the ultimate thing you want a teenager to learn is give a shit, please.
Yeah, care about something. And I told them, I always tell them this. I tell them that everybody cares about something, and the thing is, you never hear about the people that were acting like they don't care or who didn't care. People who don't give a shit don't become famous. The people who did care, those are the ones you always hear about. And the thing is, they had to push past that psychological urge to act like they don't care, because what happens is you start to care about something, and then people see that you care about something, and then what happens next? You fall on your ass and you fail, because nobody really nails it on their first try. So what happens is people see you bust your ass, and then you feel like very vulnerable because you realize that people saw you fail and they know you care. Now they know that failure like really hurt you. But everybody has to push past that. And then today I was talking about, do you remember the disaster that was our short film back in like the mid-90s?
Oh, I remember a couple of disasters. There's 2 feature film disasters, and then a short film disaster.
So the first short film we ever made together.
You talking about Middleman?
No, I'm talking about the apartment. I'm talking about the apartment upstairs.
Right.
Which was a disaster. You hadn't been in a movie. You hadn't produced a movie. I hadn't directed a movie. However, there we were trying to do this thing.
I have stories I could tell. We might almost should do an episode per failure story, because I have so many things I could talk about as far as just apartment upstairs alone.
So I started telling my students the story, and I realized how much I've learned from not getting that movie made.
Yeah.
I learned more about how to make a movie by failing at making that movie than I have ever learned from a commentary, by successfully making a film, by being on a film set, reading a book, any of that stuff. I learned more about how to do it by learning basically what not to do. So we'd never done anything. We had like a 15-person crew, which was the largest, to this day is the largest crew that I've ever had on any of my film sets.
Yeah.
And it was hard to manage that many people. So right there, keep it small, keep it simple, don't make it impossible to manage. We were feeding the crew. It was getting expensive. We were renting equipment. It got expensive.
You're using your own money instead of other people's money.
Right.
I remember...
And it wasn't even my money. It was our producer's money.
Well, that's what I meant.
I did not realize he had spent that money. He was spending that money. They were sort of going behind my back and making sure the production was good. And I appreciated that, but I was still mad at them for spending money on it because I knew. Anyway, we had never done it before. So what you need to do for your first film is go out there and fuck it up on a zero budget. Not spend a whole bunch of money just so you can fuck it up on an expensive budget.
Other people's money, that's the secret to filmmaking.
Yeah. And so it took us forever to make this thing. Like, we had 2 days in this one location. So it's called The Apartment Upstairs. We did not... it took us so long to shoot. We did not finish everything we needed to finish. However, we were never allowed back in that location again just because of, inconvenience to the people who live there and all that stuff.
Ultimately, it's tragic for me to say this, but ultimately, it got stolen, taken away from us.
Yeah.
At a church, no less. It was just in your bag and...
Hold on, I haven't gotten there yet.
Okay.
Because you skipped over the whole other traumatic part. We didn't finish the thing, so a year... we didn't finish
you want to
it.
get deep
so
into it.
So a year later... We were still trying to figure out what to do with it. It's a 15-page short film. The main character, our best friend, our buddy, come with guy. He was in everything. He was going to be in everything we ever did. He suddenly died, he had a sickle cell anemia crisis and went into the hospital and died.
Yeah.
So
he was all of our best friends at that point.
we didn't get the movie made. That's one failure. Then Morris, our friend Morris, died before we got it made. The one thing he ever got to be in.
Yeah.
We failed him.
That was his dream too.
We failed him. And then a year later, I racked my brain. I was trying to write scenes so that we could at least thread it together somehow. The story changed a little bit based on the footage that we had with Morris, and we were trying to figure out how to make it work. So I'm sitting there. I hope my dad's not listening. Sitting at my dad's church, running the soundboard in the back there behind the soundboard, editing the movie. Right, this is gonna go good here. This is gonna go good there. Blah blah blah. Packed up my stuff, put it in a bag. I was putting the soundboard away. The next thing I know, I will turn around and my bag is gone. The one that has all of our priceless, irreplaceable tapes with Morris footage and all that stuff. I had just a little porta-brace bag that had all that stuff in it. And for weeks, I tried to find this thing. I thought, at one point, I started to think, did it ever even exist? Because it was there. It was there, and then it was gone. Did I stumble into some sort of like butterfly effect, alternate reality, where my priceless tapes are gone, where they just never existed? But I'm not remembering they never existed. I'm remembering from some alternate M theory, like alternate universe thing.
Yeah.
So, but it's because of that. I personally. We work, and one other incident, we work fast. We work in chunks to where we don't do it all spread out anymore.
Yeah.
We do it, we get in and we get out.
We back everything up 3 times.
Yes.
On 3 different places.
All of that stuff. And these are like, I'm telling you, I was crushed. This is heartbreaking. I'm emotional talking about it right now because it was honestly the worst failure of my life.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine anything ever going so bad that it's worse than how I felt about failing my friend and not being able to live on through his memory. And
we
all
were
that
lucky. We actually have a trailer. We made a trailer of it.
Yeah. We got that done before.
Now that I'm thinking about it, we should put this, because we're putting all this, all the Film Reverie episodes, I'm putting them up on the YouTube page. Mm-hmm. So what do you think about we put
Eventually,
the trailer? Put the trailer, because we talk about it on the episode. It'd be cool to have the trailer. Here's the movie we didn't get to make.
And we also have the documentary we made about Morris after he'd been passed away for 10 years.
Yeah.
We can put a link to that there too.
Yeah.
Anyway, I say all that to say, look, we know what it's like to get stuck into a project and not get it done. We've learned a lot over the past 20 years about what not to do, and we basically just have our own philosophy on how we're going to get a movie made. Now, this film had 3 false starts before we got to make it.
Yeah.
And the only reason we made it when we did is because finally, somewhere randomly, the cosmos fell into alignment and we got all 4 of our actors at the same time. Yeah. And we're like, we have got to do this by this date right here, or we will not get to make it again.
We had a window in time where everybody said, "Yeah, I'm available."
Yeah.
Say, okay, we don't know how, but we're gonna make this now. Let's go.
Randomly available. We didn't even it just came like manna from the heavens. It suddenly just fell into our laps, and I was fully prepared to wait another 6 months or a year for this other group of couple of actors that we knew we could make it work with if once they became available. I'm glad we did it when we did, because number one, we might still be trying to shoot the fucking thing. Number two, those actors never did become available. So
yeah.
we might literally still be sitting here trying to get the thing edited, and we will have done maybe 40 or 50 more episodes of Film Reverie talking about, you make a movie. We're going to try to make a movie, and I don't want to be like that. I don't like running. I don't like it when I run into people, and they say I'm working on a project, and then the next time I run into them, they're still working on that same project. 6 months later, they haven't done it. This movie was that for us, though. We were for 2 years saying we're going to do this, we're going to do this, we're going to do this. And it fell apart 3 times. And it honestly, we have horror stories, it almost fell apart 2 more times a week before the production. If you remember, like we will go through all of this stuff. It's honestly, just briefly, we had our DP that we were working with. Life happened in his department, and he had to bail on the production like less than a week before we started shooting. The night before our first day of production, the location we were going to shoot in totally fell through. And since we didn't have any money, the location we had was perfect for us because it was free. Well, because it was free, and it also fit the look. So
and we also didn't need to get permits.
We didn't have to get permits because we were working with the person that lived there. However, what happened the day before the production, we lost that location, and we had to scramble to find a location that ended up being worse for us in terms of logistics, but also didn't quite fit the look that we needed that particular place to have. But since we were desperate for a spot, and we were terrified of postponing production even one more day, because if we did, another week went by, another 2 weeks went by, and honestly, we only had a 3-week window when we can shoot with everybody. So we were terrified to do this. So we actually made a compromise that to this day I'm still not very happy with in terms of that one little piece of logistics. However, because of that like Thomas Edison light bulb 10,000 failed experiments thing, like we have new rules for ourselves on what to do and how to do it and why to do it. So
yeah, you never be afraid to fail, because each failure will inform your successes in the future.
Yeah,
you'll know what not to do, and you'll be able to teach other people how to not make the same mistakes you did, which essentially is what we're doing.
Yeah,
we're gonna tell you. I think the first episode we're gonna do is sort of like our adventures in filmmaking or something. I don't know what we're gonna call it.
We're talking about filmmaker's journey, mythic structure.
We're gonna explain a storytelling structure that's very famous and used in every movie. You can take any movie and apply the mythic structure to it and see how every story that's ever been told uses this storytelling structure.
Yeah. And by the way, it also applies to your life.
Yeah, it can apply to your life and everything. So we're gonna basically take you on the journey of all the ups and downs of making our film, while showing you how to tell a story.
Yeah.
Whenever you're coming up with your script or your idea, these are the main elements you're gonna want to use from beginning to end to tell your story.
Yeah. So before we get too far into it, we should just wrap it up for now.
Yeah.
We do want to say that while we have been away, we started another podcast where we just talk, but you could call them movie reviews, but it's really just conversations about the movies we've seen. It's called Movieisms, and Movieisms, we've had a lot of fun doing Movieisms because it's one of the things we always wanted to do anyway. We're always doing it anyway, is sitting around just talking about movies that we've seen. We're basically having the same conversations that we would have if there was no microphone recording. So that's at movieisms.com, movie, ISMS, Movieisms.
Yes.
You can find us in iTunes, and we try to stay pretty current with that show. We're basically releasing episodes every week, and Film Reverie is going to be a weekly released episodes as well. The next episode we have is with Steven Stull, who is a film festival director.
Yeah.
And his film festival.
And he's a filmmaker.
And a filmmaker. Very prolific, actually. He's got like 3 films that are out in festivals right now. His festival is called the Sick and Wrong Film Festival, and it's basically like a festival of midnight movies. So every all those crazy movies that they play at midnight at film festivals that they know that general audience isn't going to want to see, the crazy weird shit that, like, you think, where did they come up with that idea? He's got a whole festival filled with movies like that. And it's really cool. He's right here in Orlando, but he also gave us a great insight as to what he's looking for when he's accepting films and what some of the pitfalls and errors that filmmakers make when submitting to a festival.
Yeah.
And also just some general we had a great conversation about, filmmaking and storytelling and finding your voice and stuff like that. That, really honestly, I thought I knew what I wanted to make movies about until I was about maybe 30 something and realized that what I was really trying to do, and it finally clicked into place for me on exactly the type of writing and films I wanted to make. And my 20s were just basically a process of elimination, errors.
Yeah.
So
that's what failure is.
Yeah.
And as far as your road to success is, your process of elimination. Let me figure out what, who I am not, and how not to do these things.
Yeah. And so help us help you not do that. Not do that. So we will be back weekly on Fridays. This is Film Reverie. I'm Becca Meyer.
As always, Balding Ewok.
Yeah, if you want to find us on social media, I'm Becca Meyer, Balding Ewok.
Yeah, but Film Reverie, everything is at Film Reverie.
Film Reverie, and the website is kind of... Is it under
I've
construction?
gotten 9 of the revamped episodes up.
9 of the 55?
9 of the 55. Okay. I'm going to be adding them.
Yeah.
They'll all be up there in a couple weeks. But brand new security. We're locked down. There's going to be a padlock on there. The site's secure.
Yeah.
So you don't have to worry about... being anything unsafe happening on our website. It's just going to be filled with information, and all the pictures and titles are going to tell you this is what you can learn in this episode if you're interested. Because before it was just take whatever and this person. It was you don't know
what it's about,
who that is or why. So now it's all explained. This is this person, this is who they are, and this is what we talk about on the show.
So that's that. We're also planning on doing some curriculum driven webinars and stuff like that to help people get more specific into some of these things that we're going to do here, a little more general topic, general discussion. We're going to
do a lot of free teaching things, but we'll have more advanced stuff if there's areas that you want to know more about.
So it's actually great to be back. We were talking about it the other day, and I realized how much I kind of missed talking about filmmaking. I love talking about movies, but filmmaking is the thing. It's like.
But I mean,
it feels good talking about movies.
This show is what made us who we are now, in a way, because this show helped us meet the people and make the connections that helped us get our film made.
Yeah, it really did. It really did.
Which informed everything. And we made all of our mistakes on Film Reverie so that we did everything right on Movieisms.
Three of our four cast members we met through somebody that we met because of this show.
On Film Reverie, yeah.
So, we're going to talk all about that stuff. Anyway, that's it for this time. We will see you again next time. That's it for this time. We'll see you again next time. That's how that works. And until then, go make something.
The end.
Bye. Oh, and cut.
Buy and cut.
Buy and cut. Film Reverie Podcast is a production of Super Mega Ultra Entertainment and is produced by Michael Beckemeyer and Bradley Kingston. If you're enjoying this podcast, please be sure to leave us a 5-star review in iTunes. And visit filmreverie.com to listen to past episodes, and be sure to click like or subscribe wherever you find us. That's it for this time. We'll see you again next week with another episode of Film Reverie. 3, 2, 1. If you're enjoying this podcast, please visit the iTunes fucking shit. Visit filmreverie.com to subscribe to... Why can't I say that? Or visit us on the... what the fuck? Why can't I say this? It's because I hate this shit. I'm going to make this the outro so they can laugh at the meltdown. If you're enjoying this podcast, it really helps the podcast if you listen to our podcast. Podcast!
Now you have to put it at the end.
The end.